Okay, so today we're going to talk about kind of like the relative ratios and values that would indicate or response to the certain research test. So first we have R value, and R value has to do with correlational studies or correlation studies. And R values are measured from 1 to 1 or -1 to 1. So the closer it is to -1, it means that there's a negative correlation. And the closer it is to 1.0, it means there's a positive correlation. And let's say it's 0, that would mean there's no relationship. Okay, and then for relative risk, it's used in cohort studies or perspective. So in these studies, it kind of measures how the development of disease within healthy people. And so when you do the relative risk, the higher it is from 1, it's the increase risk of developing that disease. And then when the relative risk is less than 1, then it shows the decreased risk in development of that disease. And then we think about odd ratio, we think about case control. Yeah, so case control, or it's like a retrospective. So basically within case control and retrospective, it's more of how you compare the people with the disease, which is the case, and then people without the disease, which is control. And the odds ratio helps show you the increase or the lower risk of kind of like those associate like what's it called, the risk factors associated with those disease. So when you have a odds ratio that's higher than 1, then that means that there's an increased risk factor. And then if you have it less than 1, that means it's a less risk factor. So that's what we went over today. So just review. So R values has to do with correlation studies. So the closer it is to 1, the higher or the more positive the correlation. Closer it is to -1, the negative correlation. And in the middle, it's going to be no relationship. For relative risk, we think about cohort perspective studies. And remember that cohorts, it's kind of like the purpose is to track healthy people developing a disease over time. So the higher the relative risk is the more likelihood, higher risk. And then the lower the RR, it means lower risk. Odds ratio has to do with case control or retrospective. So these are observing people who have the disease, which is the case, and then do not have the disease, which is the control. And this helps identify what are the risk factors associated with that disease. So the odds ratio helps determine if the closer it is to being less than 1 would indicate lower risk factors, and then the one that's higher than 1 would indicate the increased risk factor. So that's that.